news, and our worldviews are defined by what we read. Let me tell you what I mean by that. When reading articles, it's tedious to find other perspectives that represent an holistic and objective worldview. In this age of media and loss of information, where different people are reporting the same topic in multiple different ways, there are a lot of biases that creep into the different perspectives on the internet. And that can be a pretty daunting, intimidating, and confusing place for the everyday reader just like us. So what's the solution? Let me welcome you guys to Worldview. It's an opportunity for convenient access to a diversity of perspectives. It's a chance to make browsing articles and exploring different perspectives simpler and more intuitive than ever, in a way that you can better understand yourself and the ideas of those around you. So what's our solution? Let's say you're browsing an article on the internet. You're viewing different opinions. Maybe it's a scientific article or an opinion piece or any type of article on the internet. After a couple seconds, a plugin will activate where an informative source appears demonstrating different statistics on that specific article, including sentiment analysis and other factors and relationships to other similar topics on the internet. Lastly, you may be redirected to a dashboard, which you may click on, where you will be presented with a diversity of other articles and other factors as well, such as their keywords and how closely they are related and connected to the current article that you're reading.
Cool. So let's talk about how exactly this application is used, starting from browsing. You may be reading an article about, in this case, Ottawa police appearing, and suddenly a Chrome extension appears, and it's a plugin that shows the sentiment analysis of that current article as shown in the top bar at the top. Some keywords and key entities are also shown, but more importantly, you see a few articles below that represent different perspectives that we have identified in our application. And here you can see there are two different articles that are identified and give you a quick holistic view of what exactly, what other diverse thoughts exists within this topic. Now, if you do want to go further, we also have a dashboard. In this dashboard, you can see here that if you click on the dashboard page, on the left, you get information about the current article, even more detail, but more importantly, you get perspectives that represent clusters of thoughts identified through scraping the internet for multiple articles. If you click into a specific cluster, we actually also identify the relationship between different articles that relate to that specific perspective. For example, in this perspective, there are 3 articles that relate in some way, and you can then hover over them and see summaries of those articles.
All right, so the first step is scraping. Once you arrive at an article, the URL of the article gets fed to a scraper. And what does that scraper do? It looks in the internet for related articles that have similar topic, similar sentiment, etc. And it does this in a recursive fashion. So it does one search query, finds an article, then does it again with that article's headline or that article's content sentiment. And it keeps on doing this until we can construct a tree-like structure with linkages, weights, etc. Next, we run some NLP. So this NLP, this will, given a document, run a sentiment analysis, get sentiment, whether positive, neutral, or negative. It will also run what's called entity extraction. So it will get the document and get any places, people, organizations, and it will also rank keywords. So given frequency of some words, rank which ones appear the most, indicating some level of importance. Next, we cluster documents that are similar to each other. And the way we do this, there are 3 steps. First is we extract the metadata that the scraper will provide us. Next, we run what's called a K-prototype clustering algorithm. This works well with our data because we have a mixture of categorical and numerical data. Lastly, we fit our model to the current batch of documents to get our clusters that we can now use.
So to conclude this presentation, why now? Why is something like this, a tool so intuitive to use, so important at this day and age? If you look at the news, which I say everyone does every day, we know that we live in a society of radical polarization. Everybody, or most people, have very strong perspectives or feelings on certain ideas, and that's okay. But it's not okay when people have extremely strong perspectives or extreme polar perspectives when they are not aware of everybody else's opinions and the full picture. So in other words, we've developed a tool where everybody can have access to this greater and broader picture and understand the landscape of different topics out there, and then have the liberty to make their own decisions for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.